The first thing I want to say right off the jump is that this content is in no way sponsored and I have no affiliation with the brand. We're here as customers considering purchasing a piece of equipment. And I want to thank the brand for giving me access to walk around and film and get all the information on this equipment. Hey, it's Brock here with Rock Hill Farm, and me and my brother-in-law are out shopping for equipment today. He's actually in the market to buy a mini skid steer. So we're at a Cimarron dealership. We're going to take a look at these machines, and I think we're going to compare and contrast a little bit the value you get from buying a machine like this compared to buying a bigger name brand or buying used equipment. And Cimarron is one of the big dealers in our area. This is only 2 hours away, and they're I think in my mind, one of the more premium brands of the smaller Chinese equipment. So my brother-in-law is actually considering leaving here with one of these mini skids. And while he's test driving that and talking to the salesman and their on-staff mechanic, I want to go in the showroom, check out the excavators. Then we'll meet back up here and we'll find out if he's going to buy one of these and what his impression is after comparing a lot of machines on the market. This is a good size machine, I think, for a lot of property owners in the 3.5 to 5 ton range. And yeah, this is XH42D. I talked to him on the phone. I think that machine weighs about 8,500 pounds. And man, that would be the ideal size of machine for me. And look at how big that bucket is. I've got a 3.5 ton machine at home that weighs almost as much as this, but I can tell you that bucket is dramatically bigger. I think the boom might be longer too. And it's got a really heavy, that is a heavy front blade on it. Just the thickness of the metal and the build on that. Yeah, this machine in theory would be the same size machine I have at the house, but it's actually a little bit bigger. It sits a little bit higher. This machine is definitively more premium on first impression than the one I've got. Mine had the air conditioning unit right here that blocks your rear visibility, but this is an air conditioned machine that doesn't have that. So for me, if I want to transport the machine to jobs, I can't go bigger than this. But if I make the concession that I'm only going to keep it on my own property, the difference in capability stepping up to this size of machine is dramatic. So much more power, so much more reach. And like if you're moving logs, like this machine is going to have that lift capacity out here, the ability to sit on the bank of the pond and dig it out instead of having to drive down in there. So you start off, you can get a machine for like $3,000 off of Temu that looks like an excavator, or you can go to an auction and buy a $3,000 machine. You can also spend over $100,000 on, you know, a name brand, Caterpillar, John Deere, Kubota excavator that is this size. A machine like this from one of the major brands is going to be in that $70,000 to $80,000 range. I think Kubota, when I was looking at them, they might have been in the 60s, but that's like 67,000, but that was without every feature I would want. So you're spending a lot of money. Now this machine is $40,000. They listed like $39,500 or something like that, but roughly $40,000, and it can probably go up with some premium features. But I think it's a really interesting conversation. Where do you want to jump in to a machine like this at? $3,000, $4,000 at an auction for a machine that isn't really going to do any work for you and doesn't have the build quality? You're going to spend $100,000 for the most premium name brand? Or something like this that splits that difference. All right, so there is a wide range of excavator sizes in here. This XH14-2 is a gas excavator. You guys saw me running a machine this size on the channel recently, and I compared it, you know, price-wise and features to a tractor backhoe. If you already have a tractor and you're trying to decide, do I put a backhoe on that or an excavator in this size range? I really did head-to-head comparisons on dig depth, dig power, and convenience of use. And you gain a lot of things with a machine like this. Like the backhoe for my tractor, it's like $8,000. So you're spending more on something like this. but you've got that versatility, that of the ease of transport. You're not taking it on and off of the tractor, which can be a hassle. You can spin 360 and put the dirt behind you. There are a lot of convenience factors that make this easier to use or more efficient than a tractor backhoe. And especially just if you're spending all day running it, this is going to be a lot more comfortable experience. So this one's around $13,000, and you come up to this one, you're around $18,000. And the big difference there, I mean, these machines, when you stand next to them, they feel like they're the same size, and they roughly are, but the big difference here is the diesel engine. We all know diesel engines are much more expensive than a gas engine, and they give you more power, more torque. Even if you're buying a truck, you're going to spend an extra $10,000 on that truck to get the diesel engine. So that's your choice there. If you know you want a small machine, you're saying, do I want the diesel or do I want the gas? So you've got another small one over here. Then they've got other types of equipment like this traditional forklift. And then you go up in size, you go up in price. You know, this machine is around $24,000 to $26,000 range. And then from there, you're stepping up to like that $40,000 machine outside. These are the mini skid steers. They've got two models here, although they actually have other models. They have a smaller gas one, but this is the XTL 30-2. That's the XTL 30 Power Series. And these are very similar machines. The difference is mainly in like it's got wider tracks. It's kind of like a XL version of that machine over there. Costs a little bit more, but you're going to get a little bit more lift capacity. Now, my brother-in-law is outside right now test driving one of these and kind of talking through with a salesman and a mechanic. And I'm going to go out there and join them, and I'm going to get his impressions, and I'm going to get more details on these machines. But they come with either a Kubota engine or they can have a Perkins in them. But these machines are going to have more lift capacity and be able to lift and carry more than the mini skid steer I've got at home that cost almost twice as much. So these machines, a base price is going to be just over $20,000. It can go up from there with some features or some options, or if you want to get any attachments with it. Whereas my mini skid runs about $40,000, and you can easily pay $60,000 for one. So once again, it all depends on where you want to jump into that price range. You can get a machine for $2,500 at an auction, but don't try to pick up more than a couple hundred pounds with it. The biggest concern people are going to have about saving their money on buying a machine like this as opposed to a name brand is, oh, well, I won't get parts, I won't get a warranty, you know, I'm going to have problems, and then I've just got a brick in my yard. But there's a few things to keep in mind there. First, this is largely a mechanical machine. It's not computer controlled, which means it's less likely to have a gremlin that you can't find with it. If you have a gauge that stops working, you've probably got a couple wires running that down to a sensor. So from a repair standpoint, it's going to be more of a DIY opportunity. But they also stock a lot of parts at this location, and they've got other dealers around the country. So this one has the Perkins in it. As we pop that open, got these removable panels down here to access everything. All right, let's go through the shop and then go out and drive one of these. So here's the service center. We've got a work area in here, and then a lot of times if machines need assembly, this is kind of an assembly area. You can see all of these machines in stock. He said these pass through pretty quick. They're moving a lot of machines in and out of here every day. But here are a lot of the common replacement parts. You know, if you need a cylinder or anything like that, you're not necessarily ordering that cylinder from China and waiting for it to ship. A lot of this stuff is here, and it's being shipped to you from Oklahoma. That really makes a difference. Like your sprocket for your tracks here. All of these are parts that they just keep in stock. Lots of filters, hydraulic components, pumps. There are like joysticks for your control systems. And like we've got some seats over there. We've got full engines here. He said most of the time they have a replacement engine for pretty much anything they sell. There are some Briggs & Stratton engines over there, Briggs & Stratton here, your gas engines, and these are Kubota diesels and Perkins diesels. So if you buy one of these machines, you're not just relying on parts to ship from overseas. They've got, you know, full-time mechanics here that test this equipment out, and if you have a problem, they usually have the same machine setting here that you have at home, so they can actually troubleshoot that with you over the phone, send them a video clip of what's happening, and they can try to recreate it. Obviously, this isn't the same as like Kubota, where every corner you walk around, there's another dealership. But it does matter that there is a dealership that has actual mechanics on staff that can help you with troubleshooting and walk through problems with you. This is quite a facility. They've got a lot of machines here. And here is another assembly area where a lot of these machines are imported in. This is where they start off. So you've got attachments here. There's a stump grinder, grapples, brush cutters, extra wide buckets. We got augers. That looks like an auger for an excavator. This is a nice size excavator here that has a different look. I think it's a little bit smaller than that one outside. Nope, same size. XH42D. There's the hydraulic manifold. All your cooling. So these machines come in here, and even though they're brand new, they basically get a service. That in a lot of instances, I've seen people online complain that they were having hydraulic problems, and it was solved by replacing the hydraulic fluid that came in the machine with a higher quality fluid. He said that they basically do that to a lot of their equipment here when it comes in. I mean, they've got big stuff. It's a wide variety of what they've got. And here we've got some more of the mini skids. So obviously you can get them in different colors. I think this is the smaller gas unit that they didn't have in the showroom. Now here it shows how the excavators come in. Said they don't just do a service, they also do upgrades on them that are things people commonly ask for. But the point is, when these machines come in here, they do a little bit of customized work to them that they have found helps the end user. This is where the rubber meets the road. This guy's got a big pile of cash and he's trying to decide if he wants to spend it on one of these machines right here. Now, you've been shopping for a while.
Yep.
You went around and looked at some of these other Chinese machines with me and by yourself. We've been looking on Marketplace at Bobcat and Ditch Witch, looking at the resale value and what it's going to cost you to buy a used machine. So I'm really curious. You've been running this, kind of what you think about it and as an option, and so, like what are the main features you're looking for in a machine like this?
So with me, between the variations of machines they have here, the XTL30, when you're running at idle or above idle, when you raise and lower the boom, this thing didn't bog down at all. It didn't change the idle speed. Nothing slowed down. It just kept right on chucking.
While you're at it, did you find out, does this platform shut the machine off when you step off of it?
It does not.
Does it stop movement? That's just something to stand on.
I did not. I don't know if it stops moving or not. So.
Why don't we check it real quick? Do you mind? Okay, so unlike mine, this machine will operate without you on it. You think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
It's just operator awareness, I think. I mean, you got to be aware that it's possibility of moving.
I almost like it, but I'm not as big on overkill of safety features. That's a personal preference, I guess.
I prefer to be able to get off the machine without it dying. Same thing with lawnmower. With any type of machine, I know I'm getting off of it. I know what I'm planning on doing. The concern would be if somebody else walked up and hit the handle.
I want to expand a little bit on the conversation about the safety platform when you get off of the machine, because there's some information I didn't know. Stepping off the platform does not disable the machine, but if you want to use a safety feature like that, it has a kill switch on a cable. You can clip that cable to you, and then if you're thrown off the machine or you get off the machine, it will disable the controls. That way you can use that safety feature if you want, but you're not required to. And I like that option.
Did you get a hydraulic flow on this?
It's about 12.
12 gallons per minute.
Yep.
For perspective of people who aren't used to talking about these numbers, a compact tractor, like a little compact, might run 5 to 7 or 8 gallons per minute. A bigger tractor like mine might be 10 to 12. That's the range these often run in. Mine's 10, this one's 12. A full-size skid steer, modern, is going to be like 20 in low flow to 30 in high flow. But I wouldn't want to have less than about 10 to 12. And the higher you can creep up, the more you're going to feel it when you're trying to run something with a hydraulic motor like a auger or a brush cutter or something.
I'm not 100%, but I think it was either 12.3 or 12.8 gallons per minute. I can't remember what the exact number was, but it's over 12.
These are rated at like 1,300 pounds lift capacity, I think. But actually, we know that on any kind of machine like this, they're giving you the operating capacity, and that's telling you what you should safely pick up and move, not the most you could ever get off the ground. But that's a pretty good number, really. And this is a long machine as far as mini skid steers. This one's a little bit longer than mine, but not as big as some of the other ones I've looked at. And that really, it's one thing to have the hydraulic power to lift that much, but you've got to have enough on the back with these weights here to keep it from tipping.
This one, in my opinion, is probably going to be a little bit more stable. It's got a wider track than the 30 does. I think Bryce said this one is around 42, 44 inches wide, where the 30 is 36 inches wide. It's got a narrower bucket, and this has a wider bucket.
Now let's talk about, this is cash money. You know, this is not a YouTube sponsorship.
No, it's straight out of my pocket.
Now, we looked at some used machines that you could get for around the same price range as this.
Yeah.
So where do you get the confidence to say, like, this is a little over $20,000 machine, to say that this is a better value for my money than buying a $20,000 used machine?
For me, I feel more comfortable whenever I can come and physically talk to somebody. This is my second trip down here talking to these guys, and they've all been great. They've all spoke to me. They've answered every stupid question that I've had. Where if I buy a used machine, I'm buying the unknown. If I buy this machine, it's a new machine. I know what's happened to it. These guys work on these machines. They have the parts for these machines. So if I have a question, if I have an issue, I can call down here and talk to somebody, and I'm not going to get a recording. I'm not going to get somebody that I can't understand. I'm going to physically get to talk to somebody. And that goes a long way for me. I'm being able to accessibly talk to somebody.
Yeah. And then the idea that these are largely mechanical machines, that it's kind of what you see is what you get.
This is a Kubota 1105.
That's the exact same engine that's in mine.
This one, Brock, I like the setup of this one because this pump system is all accessible. It's just a lot more accessible. With this one, the exhaust and everything's out of the way. Easy access to my battery. I just feel, with my limited knowledge of these machines and limited knowledge mechanically, I think this is possibly a better option for me.
So for me, if I'm shopping for a machine like this, it's got to have a control pattern that feels comfortable to me. It's got to meet my lift capacity numbers. It's got to have the hydraulic flow. And then I need to have some confidence that I can get parts. This kind of checks all the boxes, but it's not my money. So it's a little bit of a teaser. Rex has got to talk numbers with these guys and decide if he wants this or if we're going to keep shopping on Facebook for some used equipment. But I think it's a pretty impressive machine. I think this whole setup is impressive. So if you want to find out, I'm sure I'll give you an update in a later video. Whatever he ends up getting, we'll cover it. So I appreciate you taking time to watch the video. Put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.